Hi, I'm Rita. Welcome back to my booktube channel, Life Worth Reading. So today we're filming my April TBR, and let me tell you, I have never been more excited about a month ever because March was such a mess, like reading-wise, life-wise. It was chaotic. I didn't like nearly any of the books that I read, and it was just a bad reading month overall. So I'm just so excited to skip to a new month and start fresh with new books. I think that this is my most exciting TBR yet, simply for that reason. But we need to talk about, before I move on to the actual tarot game that I do every single month, and as always, you can check out the prompts in the Google Docs that I always leave in the description down below. But yeah, before we get to that, I need to talk about my March TBR. That was chaotic, long, and let's just get it out of the way. I did not finish it whatsoever. So let's talk about that before we can actually move on to the card pulls, because I am going to be punished again. So for my readathon TBR that I did mention in that video, and I have some overlapping books with my TBR. So for the readathon, I had to read Winter in Tokyo by Elisa Shuaduzabin, which I did read. Then I had Almond by Yeon Pyun Son. I did read that. Then we had Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, and I did not read it, and this was also in my tarot prompt of a 5-star prediction. I don't know what's going on with me in this book, because I really want to read it, but I just can't seem to start it. Do you ever have one of those books that you're really excited to read and you think that you're really going to love, but you just can't seem to start them? I am struggling with Pachinko, but yeah. Then I had to read Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi, which I did read. Then we had The Hole by Yeon Jun Pyun, and I did read that. And finally, we had The Silence of Bones by Junher, which I did read. So out of my readathon TBR, I only didn't read Pachinko. And this was also a book that was on my normal tarot TBR. And last month, if you can remember, I picked 7 cards. 7. Which I warned you right away that I was not going to be able to finish this TBR, but yeah. The first one that I got was the 3 of Pentacles, which was to read a new author to me, or a debut author, and for that one I picked Yo by Mary H.K. Choi, which I have already told you that I did read. Then we have the 6 of Cups, which was to read a translated fiction, and I got the library book Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo, and I did read it. Then I got the card The Emperor, which was to read one of my oldest books in my physical TBR, and I picked Hamnet by Magna Farrell, and I did not read it. So this was my first fail of the month. I did not read Hamnet. Then we had the 8 of Swords, which was to read a recently purchased book, and I picked Love After Love by Ingrid Prasad. Guess what happened? I did not read it either, but I will. I will read it eventually, but I didn't read it in March. Then I got the card The Devil, which was to read a horror book, and I picked The Hole by Yeon Jun Pyun, which I've already told you that I did read. Then I got the card The Hierophant, which was to read a historical fiction. I picked my other library book, which was The Silence of Girls by Pat Parker, and I finished it last night, and so that's done. And finally, we had my 5-star prediction, which was Pachinko, and I've already told you that I didn't read it. So I had, let me count them. I had 3 fails out of 7. So it wasn't the worst, but yeah, it did not work. It did not work. Okay, so now that the March fiasco is out of the way, we can actually talk about my April TBR. I am not participating in any readathons, I don't think, in April. We still have a few days left of March, unfortunately, as I'm filming this. So maybe I'll still finish another book that was on my March TBR, which I doubt. But yeah, April is going to be actually a very exciting month. I have a lot of content planned that I have to read a lot for, obviously, because I'm a booktuber. And I'm just very excited about it. So let's move on to the card pulls. Now it is time for me to pick this month's cards. As you all know, I'll be using the Mystic Mondays deck by Grace Duong. I absolutely adore this deck. And since I didn't complete my March TBR, I will be picking 6 cards from here. But actually, I was rewatching one of my old Tarot TBR's videos because I had the feeling that I was doing something different. And I realized that I used to separate the major arcana cards from the minor arcana cards and pick from each pile. So I think that I'm going to do that again this month. So I am going to separate all my cards, and since I'm doing 6 cards, I'm going to do 3 major arcana and 3 minor arcana cards. And we'll see if I like that system best, or if I like the way I've been doing it more recently. So I am going to separate them, and I will see you in a bit. Okay, like you've seen, I've just separated the minor arcana cards from the major arcana cards, and I am going to shuffle these. It's harder to shuffle when there are not a lot of cards, but I will try my best. And then we'll pick 3, but I think I'm going to like alternate in between, and I think that's going to be fun. So let's find out what the first card for my April TBR is. Okay, so let's break this in half and we'll see what the first card for this month is. We have the Tower. So the first card that I got was the Tower, and I actually really liked pulling this card because I think it's a very fun prompt. And basically it is to choose a book to read from someone else's like worst books of the year list. So 2021, because now we're in 2022. And I watched a couple of them because I didn't really remember what books were on there. And I have a few to pick from. So let me know which one you think. I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to read one that I think I'll hate or if I want to like choose one that I think I might like. I'm not sure. But the one that seemed to appear the most out of the videos that I rewatched was Nothing But Black and Teeth. This video was on Gabby's worst of the year. I think it was on Lala Loves Lit worst of the year. And it was also on Books with Lala's worst of the year. So it was a whole, like, nobody seemed to like this book, which is concerning because, like, I don't really want to read a book that I think I'll hate. But it is a contender. And the other one is actually Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. Listen, yes, a lot of people like this book, but a lot of people hated this book. And most importantly, my bestie Jayla from Lala Loves Lit hated the sequel even more. So it got me thinking, like, it's a book that I am interested in reading simply for the clownery of reading it, you know? Like, I kind of want to see it. Because one of the other books that appeared a lot was From Blood and Ash, but that book is like over 600 pages. And I think that I could get the same amount of clownery from reading this shorter book. So yeah, I'm in between those two books. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, but I think I might actually choose Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. Okay, now that we have our first card from the Major Arcana, I'm just going to leave it here. And I am going to shuffle the Minor Arcana, and we'll see what comes up next. Okay, and our first card from the Minor Arcana pile, but our second card altogether is the Five of Swords. Then the second card that I got was the Five of Swords, which is a 5-star prediction. We all know it. And the temptation of putting Pachinko back on my TBR was incredible, but just for the sake of giving myself a break from thinking about the book and giving you a break from hearing about it, I think that I am going to pick another one. And it's actually a very exciting one, and that is Finley Donovan is Killing It by Al Cosimano. I have not seen one bad review of this book. I have not seen it, and I'm reading it for a video that's coming out in April, and I just think that it will be 5 stars because, like, how could it not be? It sounds incredible. Apparently it's about this woman that's like a writer, and she's writing like murder romances or something, and someone overhears her and thinks that she's like an assassin, like a hire assassin, and it just sounds like a whole mess. And I love mess. I love drama. Like, give me it. So I think that for my 5-star prediction, absolutely Finley Donovan is Killing It. Let me know if you've read it and if it was a 5-star for you, but I am very excited about that book. Okay, so let's come back to the Minor Arcana pile and we'll do the same thing again. Our third card is the High Priestess. Next up, we got the High Priestess, and this card means to read a book with a strong female lead, or anyone that identifies as such. And for this book, I'm actually going to pick like a collective of strong female characters, because I'm going to pick The Wanted Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. This is a book that I recently purchased because I've been hearing a lot of buzz about this book in the last couple of years. I'm gonna say at least 1 or 2 years. I don't know, I think it's going to be very exciting. I think it's about witches, but it's also about like the suffragette movement and women gaining the right to vote. So it's a very interesting premise, and I think that there's no better book for this prompt specifically, at least from the ones that I could think of right now. So yeah, I'm very excited about this book because I've heard amazing things about this author, and I just hope that I love it. And our fourth card will be the Princess of Swords. Then after that, I got the Princess of Swords, and any prince or page, like the original card are pages, but any princess on my deck means to read a new release. And for this one, I am going to pick The Maid by Anita Prose. This is, I'm not sure if it's like a thriller or more like a murder mystery. I'm not sure what the vibe is, but I've been hearing a lot of great things about this book. It just recently came out, and it's about a maid at a hotel, and one of the patrons is killed. And I've heard that she may be on the spectrum. I'm not sure if that's just people's interpretations or if it's like canon. I'm not sure, but it sounds interesting, and I am reading it for a video. You don't care, but yeah, I'm reading it for a video, and I think that it's just going to be a very interesting new release that I hope that I love. Okay, so for our fifth card, we'll be taking them out of the Major Arcana. So our fifth card is the Empress. Next up, we got the Empress, and the Empress means to read a book with a beautiful cover. And I have so many that I could choose that I'm very, very like indecisive in between them. But I think that for this one, I might read either Mrs. Death by Selena Godin. Is it Selena? Yeah, Selena Godin. This is a book that was very kind of like underrated at first, but now it's been like really overhyped. But I absolutely adore this cover. I think it's so cute. So at least for the beautiful cover, we have it here, but I'm not sure what to think about this. I think it's about a wolf that's the embodiment of death, and I'm not sure what happens after that, but it sounds interesting and the cover is beautiful. But my other contestant is actually Lazy Andante by Mary Bly. This is the Portuguese translation that just recently came out. This was sent to me by the publisher, so thank you so much to them for sending this my way, because this is a book that I have heard about and I've seen like the original edition and cover, like the English version, but thankfully ours is actually like the same. I think that the only difference is that the font is black and not yellow, but I absolutely love this cover. I really, really do. And it is a romance book set in Italy, and you know, like spring is upon us. I do want to feel that good weather and those like spring summer vibes, so I might be reading this. But let me know which one you think that I should read. Which one do you think is best for this prompt? Which cover do you think is the most beautiful? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so I feel like we have a pretty good selection so far. I think that this is a better way to do it than just randomly picking out of the actual whole pile. And so for our hopefully our final card, it'll be from the Minor Arcana pile, and let's see what comes up. The King of Pentacles. And last but certainly not least, we got the King of Pentacles. Wow. The King is one of my least favorite cards because I assigned this to the prompt of reading like a book that intimidates me, which is like never good. And to end my TBR with a book that intimidates me kind of freaks me out because March was not a good reading month for me. But taking that in consideration, I think that the book that I am going to choose is possibly Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, because I just read The King of Scars in February. I didn't like it. So that's the reason why this is so intimidating to me, because I did not like King of Scars. So I don't think that I am going to like the sequel. Also, it's huge. Like, this book is almost 600 pages. So it's very intimidating to me, actually. And yeah, I'm not sure. And also another book that it is very intimidating to me, and was also in my previous TBRs and I haven't read yet, is Our Violet Ends by Chloe Gong. So those are both sequels. Like, those are both like the final book in duologies, which is why they're probably so intimidating to me. I did like these Violent Delights better than I like King of Scars, like the first one in the duology, but they're both very, very intimidating to me. So that's something to consider. I'm not sure which one I am going to start, but I would like to finish both of those duologies like kind of soon, at least this year for sure, because I don't want to like them hanging over my head. But I'm still not sure which one I am going to pick to read this month. So let's review my April TBR. This isn't final yet because I was like in between a few books for a few of the prompts, but I am going to tell you all of my options and all the books that I have already chosen for April. So for the prompt of the Tower, to read a book from someone else's worst books of the year list, I think that I am going to go with Kingdom of the Wicked by Carmen Escalco. I do be needing that clownery this month, so I think that I am going to choose that one. Then for a 5-star prediction, I will be choosing Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Ella Casamano. Then for the prompt of a strong female lead, I am going to pick The Once and Future Witches by Alexi Harrow. Then for the prompt of a new release, I'll be reading The Maid by Anita Prose. Then for the prompt of a beautiful cover, I'll be either reading Mrs. Death by Selena Godin or Lizzie Andante by Mary Bly. And finally, for a book that intimidates me, I'll be either reading Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo or Our Violet Ends by Chloe Gong. I am not even going to mention all the books that I still have left from previous TBRs. We're not going to talk about that, but yeah, at least from my physical books, this is probably my April TBR. And then we have a few other books that I do want to read. Also, let me know which is the book that you're most excited to read in April. And if you've read any of these books, any of your opinions, let me know down below. Comment them, because I will be responding. And I just love hearing what people think about the books that I might be reading. So do let me know if you have any opinions on any of these books. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. And I'll see you in my next video. I hope you have a nice day, and always remember that life is worth reading.